What distinguishes a religion from a sect or a cult? This question sparks a conversation that traverses the spectrum of belief systems, from religions to sects, and ultimately cults. Picture this spectrum as a continuum, with religions on one end, cults on the other, and sects comfortably situated in the middle. Each belief system on this spectrum varies in its degree of intrusion into followers' lives, shaping their daily routines, interpersonal relationships, and worldviews in distinct ways. Religions form the least intrusive part of this spectrum. They offer a broad moral and ethical framework, guiding believers' actions and decisions. But unlike the stricter counterparts on the spectrum, religions generally allow for a high degree of personal freedom. They don't necessarily dictate every aspect of day-to-day life, instead, providing a moral compass that followers can interpret and apply to their individual circumstances. Moving along the spectrum, we come to sects. These groups are typically more prescriptive than religions, often imposing specific lifestyle choices on their members. Sects may require adherents to live communally, abstain from certain modern conveniences, or adhere to unique social norms. While these rules are more rigid than those found in most religions, sects still allow for some degree of personal autonomy. At the far end of the spectrum, we find cults. Cults exhibit the highest level of control over followers' lives, often dictating not only what believers can do, but also what they can think. Cults may control everything from a follower's diet and dress to their relationships and job choices. This extreme level of control can be all-consuming, overshadowing individual autonomy and personal freedom. Throughout this exploration, it's essential to remember that the lines between religions, sects, and cults are not always clear-cut. Belief systems can evolve and shift along the spectrum, influenced by factors like leadership, societal norms, and historical context. Religions, sects, and cults provide a fascinating spectrum of belief systems, each with its own unique degree of influence over adherents. As we delve deeper into this topic, we'll continue to unravel the complexities and nuances that characterize these diverse forms of belief. Religions, often called the bedrock of societal values, serve as the foundational layer of this spectrum. They are the starting point, the base from which other, more intense belief systems often deviate. But what exactly makes them foundational? Well, religions typically provide ethical and moral frameworks that guide the behavior of their followers. They suggest a way of life, outlining notions of right and wrong, good and evil, sacred and profane. These guidelines, however, are not overly intrusive. In most religions, followers are free to interpret these guidelines in a way that suits their personal beliefs, experiences, and circumstances. For instance, the 10 Commandments in Christianity, the 5 Pillars of Islam, or the Eightfold Path in Buddhism. These principles guide followers towards a moral life but do not dictate every aspect of their daily existence. This moderate nature of religious practices is what sets them apart from more extreme belief systems. Religions also play a crucial role in shaping societal norms and values. They influence laws, traditions, and social etiquette, subtly weaving their threads into the fabric of society. Yet, they allow room for individual interpretation, personal growth, and spiritual exploration. This balance of guidance and freedom is a key characteristic of religions. It's important to note that while religions may influence daily life, they typically do not control it. Followers have the autonomy to make personal decisions, from choosing a career to selecting a life partner, without the religion dictating these choices. This is where religions differ significantly from sects and cults, which we'll explore in the upcoming segments. So in essence, religions serve as a gentle guide, providing a moral compass without dictating the path. Their influence is like a river, flowing around rocks and adapting to the landscape, not like a dam that controls and restricts the flow. Religions, while providing ethical frameworks, allow for individual autonomy, making them a moderate force in believers' lives. Their approach sets the stage for our understanding of sects and cults as we continue to navigate the complex terrain of belief systems. Sects, often misunderstood, provide a middle ground in the spectrum of belief systems. Now let's delve into the intriguing world of sects and their impact on personal freedoms and social interactions. Sects are essentially offshoots of mainstream religions, typically formed when a group splits off due to differences in doctrine or interpretation of religious texts. While they share a common root with their parent religion, Sects often adopt stricter rules and unique norms that set them apart from the mainstream. Take, for instance, a sect that abstains from using modern technology. This decision not only influences the lifestyle of its followers, but also shapes their social interactions. Interactions are likely to be face-to-face, fostering a sense of close-knit community, but potentially limiting exposure to diverse perspectives. Sects also have a more significant impact on personal freedoms. The stricter rules and unique norms can dictate aspects of daily life, such as what followers eat, wear, or even how they spend their time. This contrasts with mainstream religions, which typically provide moral guidance without directly intervening in personal choices. However, it's important to note that the degree of control varies among sects. Some may only impose minor restrictions, while others might have rules that significantly impact daily life. The role of sects in the spectrum of belief systems is crucial, as they represent a transition from the moderate influence of mainstream religions to the more controlling nature of cults. They show how a shared belief system can evolve into a unique set of practices that distinctly influence the lifestyle and social interactions of its followers. In understanding sects, we see a microcosm of how belief systems can shape societies and cultures, influencing everything from social norms to personal freedoms. The study of sects gives us a unique perspective on the role of belief systems in human life, providing us a lens to appreciate the diversity of human experiences and beliefs. Sects, with their stricter rules and unique norms, exert a greater influence over followers than mainstream religions. This influence, while providing a sense of community and identity, also brings about unique challenges that we will explore in our next segment. At the extreme end of the spectrum, we encounter cults, the most controlling of all belief systems. Cults occupy a unique and often disturbing place in the pantheon of belief systems. They exert an almost absolute level of control over their members' lives, dictating personal decisions, social interactions, and even thoughts and emotions. Cults operate on mechanisms of control, both overt and covert. Overt control is visible through rigid rules and restrictions that members must comply with. This could range from dietary regulations to social interaction norms. Covert control, on the other hand, is more sinister. It involves manipulation of thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, often through tactics like gaslighting and groupthink. This psychological control is often so subtle that members might not even realize they're being manipulated. The implications of such control on individual autonomy are profound. When one's thoughts, actions, and emotions are dictated by an external entity, personal freedom is compromised. Cult members often lose their ability to make independent decisions, their personal identity subsumed into the collective identity of the cult. This loss of autonomy can have severe psychological effects. It can lead to a diminished sense of self, cognitive dissonance, and in some cases, even mental health issues. The individual's capacity to question, critically think, and dissent is systematically eroded, making it harder for them to recognize the manipulation and control they're subjected to. Moreover, cults often isolate their members from the outside world, cutting off social ties and creating an us versus them mentality. This further reinforces the cult's control, as members lose their support systems and become more dependent on the cult for their sense of belonging and identity. Cults, with their total control over members' lives, represent the highest level of intrusion among belief systems. While they might offer a sense of community and purpose, the cost is often a significant loss of personal freedom and autonomy. It's a stark reminder of the potential dangers when belief systems tip into the realm of extreme control and manipulation. A comparative lens provides a clearer understanding of the differences between religions, sects, and cults. As we delve into this comparative analysis, we'll be shedding light on the varying degrees of influence and control exhibited by each group. Let's start with religions. Generally, religions present a set of moral and ethical guidelines, offering a sense of purpose, community, and belonging. However, the influence of a religion on an individual's daily life can be minimal. While there may be certain rituals or practices, followers retain significant personal autonomy. Their religious beliefs guide them, but do not dictate their every decision. Sects, on the other hand, take a step further into the personal sphere. They typically stem from an established religion but diverge in certain beliefs or practices. Sects often impose stricter rules on their members, influencing lifestyle choices and social interactions more directly. For example, some sects may have dietary restrictions or specific dress codes. The level of control is more pronounced, but members still maintain a degree of personal freedom. At the far end of the spectrum, we find cults. These groups exert the highest level of control over their members. Cults often dictate nearly all aspects of a follower's life, from what they eat and wear to who they can socialize with and where they can go. This total control can extend to manipulation and coercion, with leaders exerting an extreme level of influence over their followers. So what do we see when we compare these three groups side by side? We observe a sliding scale of influence and control. Religions sit at one end, offering guidance but little intrusion into daily life. Sects sit in the middle, providing stricter rules and controls but still allowing for some personal freedom. Cults, however, sit at the other extreme, showcasing total control and manipulation. But it's important to remember that these categories are not rigid. There can be variations within each group, and the lines between them can sometimes blur. A large religion may have subgroups that function more like sects, or a sect may exhibit cult-like control over its members. The key is to understand the general tendencies of each group and the potential implications for individual freedom and autonomy. Each belief system, from religions to cults, impacts the individuals within it differently. The level of control and influence can shape an individual's worldview, decision-making process, and overall life experience. Understanding these differences can help us navigate the complex landscape of belief systems and foster a more open and respectful dialogue. Through comparison, the sliding scale of influence from religions to cults becomes more apparent. This analysis serves as a tool to understand the nuanced distinctions between these groups and the varying degrees of control they exert over their followers. By recognizing these differences, we can better understand and respect the diverse range of belief systems in our world. Beyond individual lives, these belief systems also bear societal implications. The presence of religions, sects, and cults in a society can greatly affect its dynamics, often influencing social norms, legislation, and even its overall moral compass. Religions, being the most moderate and widespread, often form the bedrock of societal ethics. They provide a moral blueprint that guides the behavior of not only their followers but also the wider society. From celebrating religious holidays to the implementation of ethical standards in law, religion's influence is pervasive and profound. Sects, on the other hand, often create subcultures within the larger society. While their stricter norms and unique practices may seem alien to outsiders, they add to the rich tapestry of societal diversity. However, the challenge lies in fostering dialogue and integration. Sects, by their very nature, can be insular, and this can lead to misunderstandings and social friction. The societal implications of cults are perhaps the most complex. While they are typically small in number, their extreme practices can have a disproportionate impact. Cults can disrupt social harmony, often leading to societal concern or even intervention. Their total control over members' lives raises ethical questions about individual autonomy and freedom of belief. But it's not all black and white. These belief systems also foster community, provide a sense of belonging, and can be a source of social support and cohesion. They contribute to the cultural diversity that enriches our societies. Yet they can also create divisions and challenges that we, as a society, must navigate. So how do we strike a balance? The key lies in understanding, tolerance, and dialogue. We must promote open conversations about these belief systems, fostering mutual respect and acceptance. By doing so, we can ensure that the rich diversity of belief systems contributes to societal harmony rather than discord. The influence of religions, sects, and cults extends beyond the individual, shaping societal dynamics and necessitating open dialogue. Understanding the distinctions between religions, sects, and cults is more than an academic exercise. It's a journey into the diverse and intricate world of belief systems that color the fabric of human societies, shaping individual lives and collective dynamics. Think of this exploration as a spectrum, with religions on one end providing ethical frameworks and moral guidelines with minimal intrusion into daily life. They are the bedrock of many societies, offering a sense of community, purpose, and identity to their followers. Moving along this spectrum, we encounter sects. These groups often impose stricter rules and norms, influencing lifestyle choices and social interactions. They represent a middle ground, a bridge between the moderate practices of religions and the extremes of cults. Finally, at the far end of this spectrum, we find cults. These entities exercise a high level of control, dictating nearly all aspects of personal life. The mechanisms of this control can be complex and multifaceted, affecting not just individual autonomy but also wider societal dynamics. Remember, this spectrum is not a rigid classification but rather a tool to understand the sliding scale of influence and control within different belief systems. It's a lens through which we can better navigate the complex landscape of human spirituality and faith. As we've seen, each step away from religion towards the extremes of cults can represent a shift away from reality, often posing challenges to personal freedom and societal integration. But it's important to note that these challenges aren't insurmountable. By fostering an environment of understanding and dialogue, we can address the issues posed by extreme belief systems, promoting empathy, tolerance, and respect. This isn't just about understanding different beliefs. It's about embracing the diversity of human experience and fostering a world where everyone can freely and safely express their faith. In conclusion, the journey into the world of religions, sects, and cults is a fascinating exploration of human belief systems. It's a journey that highlights the importance of awareness and understanding in navigating the complexities of our world. Awareness and dialogue are key in addressing the challenges posed by the extreme ends of this spectrum of belief systems.